Good morning, everybody. Great news. It's Friday, which is good news for most of us. But if you are working across the weekend, you have our sympathies. My name is Mark Turner. I work for the Supply Chain Sustainability School, and I look after the Waste and Resource Use Group. We're running a short webinar this morning where I'm delighted to be able to introduce Adam Lane, who's Commercial Director at Mathias and Sons. Adam's going to talk to you about some of the absolutely brilliant initiatives Mathias and Sons have been undertaking to design out waste, reduce waste, find different ways to be more resource efficient, working hand in hand with clients, and also deliver some fantastic social value initiatives, some really exciting stuff to talk about there. We're going to have some Q&A as well, so you've got the opportunity to write down questions. Before I introduce Adam, Adam's intention is to sort of work through his presentation and then deal with questions at the end. We'll also take a short spell at the end. If you could give us some feedback, we do welcome feedback on these sessions, principally because we want to make them better for you. So without further ado, I'm going to pass on to Adam. Good morning, Adam.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Mark, for the intro. And thank you for joining, as Mark says. It's a lovely sunny morning out there. So if everybody's ready, I'll crack on with a few slides for you this morning. So is that okay, Mark? Can just give me a thumbs up? Cool. Right, here we go. So yeah, first of all, again, welcome. Just a brief overview of Mathias PPE and workwear suppliers. We're based in Bristol in the southwest. We're very much a family business, a family SME. The company is currently run by Jason Mathias, who's the fourth generation of the Mathias family, our managing director. We're currently turning over between 7 and 8 million. We've got 53 staff here, all in Bristol. And from here, we manage national contracts. There's a couple of examples there on the screen for Sky, Virgin Media, MCOR, and Hinkley Point C, which is just down the road, where we've got some of these initiatives about to get underway. So, although we're very much an SME, we do have the capability to supply some of these big organisations because of the infrastructure that we've built as a business. So again, is on the screen there, one of the things that we're most proud of is the long-standing relationships we hold with our customers. On average, our top 10 customers we've held for over 14 years, and that's something that we're fiercely passionate and proud of. So across the bottom of the screen there, you can see as a PPE and workwear supplier, safety is obviously paramount to what we do. We're members of the BSIF, the British Safety Industry Federation. We're ISO certified to 9, 14 and 45,001. And we have a number of other accreditations too. So I just wanted to touch on the PPE and workwear in terms of the waste hierarchy. Our approach, first and foremost, is to support our customers and work with them to provide them with the tools that they need to control their spend and their usage of PPE. What's on the screen there is a photo taken last year on one of our customers' sites where the locker rooms were cleared out for a deep clean. And sadly, what you can see on the screen there, that the high-vis and PPE that was taken out of the lockers, although it was fit for purpose, that did find its way into skips and sadly went for incineration, although it was all perfectly, like I say, fit for purpose. So what we're looking at doing is, as an example where we can stop that from happening is where we got some scanning technology that we're introducing to enable those high-vis jackets, and some of which are expensive items to easily get them back to the owner, the wearer of them. So it's a simple fix that we can put in place there, and it's just going to help avoid the usage in the first place, which is, it obviously sits at the top of the waste hierarchy. So so that's just a brief example of one of the things that we've got underway to stop the use. And we also have developed our own ordering portal. Again, the main objective of this is obviously to make it easy for our customers to place orders and select products, but our system is built to enable orders to be placed by employee. So it's a very simple drop down. You select the person who the order is for, and that does two things. First of all, it means that we can then pack the items and label them for our customers, so they turn up with the person's name on, which makes it very easy then to issue the products to the staff. But more importantly than that, it then enables these reports to be run and for us to put in place controls, spend controls, so that when people reach certain limits, that we can introduce a step whereby that's flagged up and sent to somebody for approval or authorization, and that really helps to control that potential abuse that does happen with what we do. We can also introduce lots of other solutions, and we have done for many customers. We've got one of our customers who actually allow their staff to order their own PPE and workwear and uniform themselves. So we've introduced an app. The guys can sit in their vans on their lunch breaks and actually order their own uniform very simply and easily. It sounds scary, but again, what we've done is introduce these controls so that they can only order a certain number of each product category, and that customer can relax knowing that they can't go above those constraints unless it's signed off at an appropriate level. So we've done lots of different solutions for our customers, some of them very quite complex, but that's really what our business model is introducing bespoke solutions for our customers to help them control their waste and their spend. And then I was wanting to move on to a number of initiatives that we have underway at the moment, and really starting with reuse. So I'll touch on recycling in a moment, but we've got a project underway working with a local prison and a local homeless charity. So the three of us are working together, and what we're doing is we've managed to move an embroidery machine into our local prison in Bristol, Horfield Prison, and we've provided training to the inmates there, and we are then going to donate, or we are donating some of our stock. So these are the fleeces and waterproof jackets, trousers, those types of products that are obsolete for us, are discontinued, end of line stock that have no value either to us or our customers. So rather than disposing of that through the usual means, we're donating those items to the prison. The inmates then use the embroidery machines to apply a patch logo with the homeless charities symbol, the Bosch boxing gloves that you can see there, and then once the garments are embroidered, they are then distributed to Bosch and find their way to the people that really need it the most in the homeless community in Bristol. So it's something that we're incredibly proud of, that to be doing this, and that there's lots of benefits to this project. Obviously from a sustainability point of view, and the reuse of the products themselves, but also from a social value perspective, and the inmates who are actually, many of whom would have been on the streets themselves at some point in their lives, and giving them that sense of purpose and self-worth, to be actively supporting and helping the community is going to be a real benefit too. In terms of what we then actually do with products uniform PPE and workwear that has actually reached the end of its life and it's properly worn out. It's one of the biggest challenges that we faced as a business is trying to find solutions for this. It's very challenging when you consider that, you know, high-vis jackets, for example, have poppers and zips, and they're made up of lots of different components. The primary fabric is polyester, which is notoriously difficult to deal with and treat and reuse. So we have a couple of options that we offer to or solutions that we offer to our customers. One of which is on the screen here. So it can be collected and sent to a facility, a recycling facility, whereby these items are shredded, securely shredded. They go through a machine, come out in sort of very small fragments of fabric, and they then get compressed into bales, and then they're moved on to a manufacturing facility where they use that shredded material to repurpose and manufacture other products. So there's a couple of examples there on the screen. So insulation and so sort of soundproofing for commercial vehicles. It's even used some of the polyester based products are actually used for grids, for green roofs, sedum roofs. So there's a whole range of different products that this can be used for. And again, we feel that that's obviously a far better solution than going to landfill or incineration. This is something we're really excited about. We've got a call with a customer this afternoon, and this Stormboard is again can be manufactured from used, worn out PPE and workwear. A similar process in that it's shredded and chipped into very fine particles, and then the Stormboard is kind of is manufactured through a large pressing machine. You can see the boards on the screen there. They're typically 8x4 sheets, similar to ply and MDF. And obviously the benefit of the Stormboard over those traditional products is that this is completely weatherproof. It will never rot or warp, and it can be pressure washed. But if the Stormboard does become damaged, then it's completely circular, so it can just be used, you know, over and over again through Stormboard and more sheets manufactured from it. So as an example there, one Stormboard, we just did some numbers to see the actual equivalent number of products that could go into a Stormboard, and obviously they need a mix of different fabrics and products to go into the board, but it's approximately the equivalent of 107 polo shirts or 25 high-vis jackets would go into one board. So some of the potential applications are there on the screen. So it'd be perfect. It's perfect for site hoarding, as opposed to, again, the traditional ply or OSB boards that we see, but also formwork and desk surfaces, wet rooms and toilet cubicles and the like. There's a multiple range of uses for the Stormboard. I think the important thing to say is that actually we need to start. We have started at the end of the process. So our starting point with our project was to find the end use for the Stormboard, the potential applications for it, which we've done. And we kind of work back from there. So that enables us to quantify the amount of waste that we can then send to Stormboard, and the boards come out the other end and are going to be reused on this local site that we're working on. So again, it's a very innovative and different way of dealing with PPE and workwear waste. I wanted to also provide an update on what's happening in terms of our industry and recycled products. So, you know, I've kind of covered or touched on what happens with those end of life products, but this is then taking it back to the beginning almost with the products actually themselves. being manufactured from post-consumer plastic, so predominantly plastic bottles. This is something that is really gaining traction with our supply chain, and there's some examples on the screen there. So Regatta, Leo Workwear down here in the southwest, Polyco and others are bringing these recycled products to the market now, and we're working with our customers to look at where we can replace their current item with one of these recycled alternatives. It sounds a bit odd to be wearing a polo shirt that's made from plastic bottles, but I can assure you that you would never ever know the difference, and you hold these two products up and they are absolutely identical. So we also for our major customers, we work directly with factories in the Far East, and we are working with those factories and actually bringing in our own recycled products as well. So we can go straight to the factory in China and work with them to introduce these recycled products ourselves where there is volume. And we can even produce bespoke uniform and workwear for our customers that are manufactured from plastic bottles. So that's another really exciting development that we've got underway. Single-use plastic packaging is a horrendous problem in our industry. When you think about polo shirts and hard hats and gloves and safety glasses, trousers, every product that we supply comes in a plastic bag or has done. And what we found is that a number of or the supply chain in general are starting to make some inroads into this by introducing recycled bags or recyclable bags. We've gone a bit extreme with our approach, working with our customers. We've actually been questioning why have the plastic bag in the first place. Most of these products are being the first thing that they do when they come out of the bags is go in the washing machine or onto the person, and they get dirty very much on the first day and then go in the washing machine. So we actually took it right the way back and questioned why have a plastic bag in the first place. And working with our customers, we decided to trial bringing in products from the Far East from the factory without any plastic bags. That trial, first of all, involved a shipment that came by air. So we air freighted a shipment across. So literally these products, these polo shirts were just in the cardboard box with no plastic whatsoever. And when they arrived, it was quite a big moment opening the box. But of course, the polo shirts were in pristine condition, and it was what we'd expected. Actually, was that there's actually just no need for these plastic bags. So the next thing we did is bring a shipment across by sea. So I'm sure people are aware that all these products that come from the Far East sit on the ocean for 6 weeks in a container, and that did give us more cause for concern. But once again, when it actually arrived here and we gathered around and opened the box, it was again a case that the garments were in perfectly good condition and ready to issue to our customers. So that was the start of the project, and gradually we worked through every product that we supply, working with our UK supply chain, finding ways of having these gloves supplied without the single-use plastic bag, that every pair was coming in, and gradually we managed to find our way to a zero single-use plastic solution for our customers. And we've actually been doing that now since 2018. We achieved that point with our first customer in October 2018, and ever since then we've been supplying our major customers with zero plastic. So 3 tons doesn't sound a particularly large amount, but when you actually look at the volume of plastic that that would equate to 3 tons. It's an astonishing amount of plastic, and that, again, that photo on the screen there is just 27 kilos. So you'd need to multiply that by over 100 times to get to 3 tons, and something we're incredibly proud to have achieved that as a family business and an SME, and we're proud winners of the Green Apple Award for the work that we've done on that project. And this slide is again is a little bit out there, if you like, but we've actually found a way of scanning, working with a partner who have developed an app which enables self-scanning. So there's 2 ways that this works. The first is that you download an app on the phone. You put your phone into selfie mode, and the phone gives you voice commands, and over the period of a couple of minutes, it captures over 200 body measurements, from your inside leg to your neck measurement to your foot measurement. All of that is captured, and what we've then done is integrate that data into our ordering platform, which enables, when you select the wearer, it actually selects the correct fitting garment by matching up the body measurements to the garment measurements, and it automatically selects the correct size. And for customers that recruit lots of people or have a lot of churn, and there's new starters coming all the time, that's really helpful actually in terms of reducing the administrative burden of getting the size wrong and having to send products back and reorder, and the whole time delay that causes can be taken away. Running alongside the app is the booths. So there's 2 types of booths that can be installed, and again, it's a really simple process to capture that data and integrate it into our system. That's the end of my slides. A little bit quicker than I was actually expecting, so hopefully that'll give some time for any questions and answers. But I'd like to thank everybody for your time today, and I'll run through the Q&A, Mark, if that's okay.
Yeah, that's brilliant, Adam. Thanks. That's really good, concise, loads of great information and tips there. Some things you've been doing for a while, some things you're doing now, and some things you're going to be doing into the future. And it's really clear that there's some great stuff going on. So just a couple of kind of admin questions that were asked. Yes, we'll be distributing the content afterwards. This session is actually being recorded, so you'll be able to access a recording and send that to colleagues through a link very soon. And I believe we can also share the slides, Sophie, as well, which will be definitely be useful for people. So I'll just cover those off. Do you want to look at the questions yourself, Adam, or do you want me to run through them with you?
Yeah, I've got them on the screen here, Mark. So I'll do my best to answer these questions if you're happy with that.
Yeah.
So the first question, Yvonne, working with the Far East, I just want to make this point clear that there's very little manufacturing still in terms of clothing and workwear that actually happens in the UK or even Europe. So the vast majority of every polo shirt that or item of clothing that you see is still manufactured in China or Bangladesh or Pakistan. Those are, again, the primary countries where all these products are manufactured, regardless of the brand or the name that's on them. So with that in mind, modern slavery is a real challenge. Obviously, we're working with these factories on the other side of the world. It's critical. It's critically important for us and our customers' reputations and making sure that these practices just cannot happen. So what we do is we work with an independent auditor who inspect. We've got a regular regime or routine of inspections with our factories. They capture all of the requisite information, and checking the staff timesheets, records, their personnel records. All of that information is captured. And if there are any non-conformities, then our approach is always to implement a CAP, a corrective action plan, and we work with the independent inspectors to ensure that those actions are completed in a timely manner, and then again another audit is undertaken at the end of that. So we've got a whole framework of policies and procedures regularly checked and with our customers, and it's a huge part of our business. So bearing in mind we're an SME, we have 2 full-time members of staff who work, and it's their sole focus is working with these offshore factories to make sure that everything is in place. So I hope that answers your question, Yvonne. Just really,
Adam, it's just as well that you finished early, because questions are coming in quicker than you can answer.
They are. Yeah. So the next question from Chloe is, let me see here. It's the factory making the clothing, stop buying the plastic. Absolutely. You know, we now bring these large shipments across completely plastic free. So as a natural result of that, the factory's plastic bag usage has reduced dramatically, and they all only and to begin with, the factories were like, they thought we were absolutely crazy to be bringing this stuff without plastic, and it was like, why are you doing this? And we couldn't seem to get them on board initially, but again, it took time, and obviously it's worked for us, so, and our customers. So I'm just gonna, Mark, there's so many questions here. I'm just gonna have to probably pick some out and maybe provide a separate response to some of the other ones that I can't answer.
Yeah, that's absolutely fine. So you will, if you can respond to, we'll respond to all the questions afterwards if that don't get knocked off here.
Yeah. So Chris's good question about stormboards and the weight. I know that there's 32 kilos of waste that go into each stormboard, and pretty sure that is approximately the weight of the finished board as well. So that obviously the weight that goes in is the same weight as comes out. So yeah, they weigh about 32 kilos. I haven't actually compared that to ply or MDF. The thickness is 18 mil. And again, it's 8x4 sheets. So I think the difference is that Stormboard is not affected by the rain. It's completely weatherproof, whereas the weight of ply or MDF, I would assume, will vary due to the moisture content. So I will look into that and come back to you.
Would be an interesting one from a manual handling perspective, wouldn't it, Adam? Just to kind of understand that. So yeah, we'll look into that.
Yeah, and then again, I've actually got a call regarding the project this afternoon, so I'll be speaking to Stormboard directly, and I'll ask that question. So repurposing options for items such as safety glasses, hard hats, and work boots. We encourage our customers to reuse those items as much as possible, and again, some are good at that, and others are just terrible, and it's usually by the time, if they're not reused, then they will just be thrown away typically, and again, we work with those customers to capture that waste and utilize it for either the Stormboard or the soundproof and those other products. So I'm just going to find another question. The manufacturing process, Lucy, for the Stormboard, so this takes place in Hull. So initially it was down in Frome in Somerset, which was great for us because it was about an hour away, but logistically it didn't work for them, so they've now moved the operation up to Hull. So are you finding customers think your recycling responsible services are a nice to have, or within health and safety, or are they engaging with you? Is this now the expectancy from the suppliers? I think from my point of view, that we have customers that really value this, and we're a natural fit for those customers that have this real focus and drive on their sustainability. MCOR, a great example of that. The team there are really passionate about this, and it means that us as a supplier, that have the same focus on sustainability, it's just a great fit. And Sky are another great example. There's other customers that sadly it's not really so much a customer, it's a sector in which they operate that we find, this is of less importance. And so really, I can only say that it varies from customer and sector to sector, really. Some of the other sectors are just so competitive, and it just seems to be price driven, and the value that we can add in terms of this is less important, sadly. So so do you calculate your social value or use an independent platform to describe the benefit? So we're members of various sort of supply chain associations, if you like. So EcoVadis is an example. We were onboarded. There's a lot of work went into that 2 or 3 months ago. The EcoVadis accreditation, we provided a lot of these initiatives and information on these projects to them, and we were awarded gold status and told that we were actually in the top 4% of all suppliers that they'd scored. So yeah, we do various things like that, but we don't actually use we don't actually calculate our social value. We're starting to measure these savings in terms of carbon equivalent. The plastic bag project, for example, we're able to quite easily calculate the CO2 equivalent benefit of that because it's a simple equation of the weight of plastic to CO2. But also now we're starting to work with our supply chain to understand the carbon, the embodied carbon in each product. So polo shirts and jackets and those types of products, we're pushing our supply chain to give us those numbers. So if we can save X number of trousers or sweatshirts, then we can very easily translate that into a CO2 embodied carbon saving. And we're finding ways of them reporting this to our customers for them to share internally with their stakeholders and customers. And of course, this all makes great information for and content for tenders and social media, etc. So we do quite a lot of this is feeds into our customers' marketing strategies as well, and bid teams. And we regularly support our customers with that as well. So
it's an interesting one, Adam, the question regarding social value, because of course this is becoming a real focus area in not just centralized government driven procurement, but it's spreading out into local authority procurement and private sector procurement as well, where there's actually measures set against social value. So you've got stuff like the national TOMs, the HACT processes for recording and quantifying social value, and customers are getting increasingly interested in this. And of course, most of your customers and probably your customers' customers have to deliver it through their supply chain rather than directly, because they're delivering their service through the action of a supply chain. So you probably see a bit more of this one.
No, absolutely, and I think that this PRISM project is a fantastic example of that. The social value. We can't wait to get over and get some engagement going with the inmates, particularly. To actually get some feedback from them. I'm sure this is going to really help with their well-being and sense of purpose, and hopefully will help with their reducing reoffending coming out of this as well. We're open to employment of these guys who would have built up the embroidery skills through this project, are quite hard to come by, and if we can integrate them back into the business, then that is something that we are absolutely open to. So yeah, so just gonna have a look at some of these other questions again. Mark, Alison very kindly from MCOR has answered the question about this being a nice to have or more of an expectation from customers. As you mentioned, repurposing end-of-line, old stock, worn-out garments, but are you looking at take-back schemes at all for customers? I'm not sure, Stephanie, if you mean take back as in taking back the garments, the worn garments, but that is essentially how it works. So we can organise collections from collection points across the UK. And again, these collections just go into that network and it finds its way back. But with the worn out, with the actual recycling and the soundproofing and insulation, where it gets repurposed for those types of products, everything is completely audited. That is in North Yorkshire, that recycling facility. I attended that site myself with one of our customers, and actually saw the operation happening for myself. I saw how the old uniform and workwear comes in there, how it's sorted. I actually observed this happening myself, and I saw that sorting going on. Items that are put to one side that are actually new. Some of this stuff's still got labels on, so they put that to one side and have a stream for those types of products, and then it's then sorted. Watch the actual garments going into the shredding machine and then being compressed into these bales. So yeah, that hopefully that would just describe the processes that we observed. Those bales then will go off to a separate facility, which but this whole process is properly audited, so everything's being weighed, and it's all properly checked, and we checked various paperwork and everything to make sure that it was they were doing what we were told they were doing, and it was quite reassuring to observe that.
Adam, regarding the questions about public sector, there are two there. There's one from Carol and there's one from Steph Gibney, and looking at public sector. So Steph asking about public sector engagement, and Carol asking, are you directly on any public sector frameworks? So there'll be an answer to that, whether you are or you aren't, but I imagine that you have clients that are on public sector frameworks, and clients deliver through their supply chains.
Absolutely right, Mark. So but we also work with public sector clients directly, so only really on a local basis at the moment. So we've got Bristol City Council and Bath University. So we've got local local government that we work with, but in terms of on a national basis, not really so much. Some of our customers work for the MOD, and so indirectly we work on public sector frameworks. We are a Crown Commercial Service accredited supplier, so we're members of Eurosafe, and the Eurosafe group are a CCS approved supplier. So we are on that framework, but the vast majority of our business is structured and set up for working with large private sector customers who have a real focus on sustainability and can see the value that we can add through actually providing quality workwear and controlling that cost. So it's very easy, and the traditional approach has always been to look at the cost of a polo shirt, or a pair of boots is probably a better example. Look at the cost of one pair of boots compared to the other and go for the cheapest option. Actually, in terms of staff morale, retention of staff, and their overall well-being, you must remember that some of these people are wearing these boots and uniform for 10-12 hours a day. And if those workers are actually supplied with a pair of boots, believe it or not, we do still today sell safety boots for less than £10 a pair. So sometimes as cheap as £7-8 a pair. I think to myself, actually, if I worked for that organization and I knew my employer was spending just £8 on my safety boots and expecting me to wear them for 10-12 hours a day, it sort of doesn't really create that well, it just says everything you need to know about that, how that your employer feels about you. Our approach is to provide quality value for money, PPE and workwear, and then control the spend, the issue of it. And we feel that is the best approach. And most of the customers that we do work with sort of tie into that thinking, really. So yeah, anyway, moving on to some of these other questions. So Gabriella's question here about operating in East Anglia. How can I find out where is the nearest recycling facility for PPE? Is there a locator map? So I think you'll find with recycling, I don't know why this is, but it almost exclusively is carried out in the north of the country. Hull, North Yorkshire. Every time that we sort of look into this, it seems to be that is where these facilities are based. There may be others dotted around the country, but my experience is that most of these centres are up in the north of the country. So I hope that answers that question. Obviously, it would be great to be working with a local recycling facility. We'd love to be able to find one, and thought we had with the Stormboard, and then as soon as we sort of looked into it, they were even moving up north as well. So open questions. Laura Griffin, what goes into the green roofs? So what I described was it's kind of a substrate that actually sits underneath the sedum roofing. So it's, if you imagine the actual flat roof, this is the grid, the plastic grid. So the PPE waste is used it goes into the manufacture of this plastic grid that the green roof sits on, or the plants sit on, I should say. So that's the actual product itself that is made. Are you finding customers? Sorry. Are Mathias classed as a social enterprise? I don't believe we are, Jessica. We're a private limited company, an SME. Like I say, our turnover is 7 million. I'm not aware that we have got a social enterprise status, but again, I'll look into that and answer that separately.
Adam, is Bosch a social enterprise?
Yes, yeah, it is.
Yeah, so that's probably the connection, isn't it? Work with an organisation that specialises in that area and form a productive relationship with such organisations.
Emily, are you calculating your carbon saving? If you can provide a cash cost and carbon cost, it will force more people to use. Yeah, and it is absolutely. We're working hard to be able to calculate the overall carbon saving of what we do. When we introduced our portal to one of our customers and put these, we actually put in place a points allowance for them. So for each of their staff, they had a limit. They could use those points for whatever range of products they wanted to, but it was restricted to 300 points in a year. And what we found was when we introduced that for them, their spend dropped by 35%. So there's a monetary saving there, but obviously there's the carbon saving of not supplying those products in the first place. And that's actually the difficult bit, is calculating the embodied carbon in each of these products when they're manufactured in different countries and different fabric compositions, etc. It's very difficult to actually work out the embodied carbon of each specific product that we supply, and that's the challenge in actually quantifying the carbon saving. I mean, we can do it easily with the plastic packaging, and that's easy to do. It's the embodied carbon of if we reduce our customers' usage by X number of products, and this is the range of products, what is that carbon saving? And that's actually a real challenge for us to quantify. But we're working with our supply chain, as I say, to as well as get as part of this is what should happen as part of the technical specification of each garment. They should have the embodied carbon based on what goes into it, shipping, etc. So we're pushing that through various means at the moment.
Adam, you've managed to crack it. I think you've got through the written questions, so absolutely fabulous effort. I've just got a couple myself before we allow you to escape, which I hope we've got time for. I mean, what I know at the moment, I'm trying to not let any kind of event go by without mentioning the spectre of the plastic packaging tax, which is going to come in April of this year, and that sets a tax against plastic packaging that's manufactured or imported into the UK that contains less than 30% recycled plastic. And my question is, are you starting to see any questions from customers regarding the content of your packaging, or has that not been the case so far? Because one thing we're sort of quite eager to see amongst the larger organisations and supply chains is greater transparency and understanding of the content of packaging, what it's made of, and where it exists. What you've done is even better. You've gone right to the top of the waste hierarchy and got rid. But I just wondered if the questions coming along.
Mark, I'll be honest with you, it's not on people's radars at all. This plastic packaging tax, and obviously that is only going to go in one direction. As the policy changes and law changes start to take effect, it'll be the same sort of thing with the plastic carrier bags in supermarkets. As soon as you start charging people for them, the usage drops off a cliff, and the same will happen. I'm convinced with I think retail will follow, but I think with what we do, there will be hopefully a rapid change in these practices and supplying unnecessary plastic packaging. I mean, some of the things that we see is just mindless, really. I'll give you an example. I wish I'd had a pair to the side of me, actually, but we had when we were looking at safety glasses and introducing a microfiber pouch rather than a plastic bag, one of our suppliers was actually supplying a pair of safety glasses with a plastic pouch, with a microfiber pouch. The microfiber pouch was in a plastic bag, right, with the safety glasses, and then the plastic bag that held the microfiber pouch and the safety glasses were in another plastic bag. So for one pair of safety glasses, you had two plastic bags and a microfiber pouch, and we were like, what the hell's going on? All you have to do is take these safety glasses, put them in the microfiber pouch, and job done. And you've taken out two items of plastic packaging. But again, with the volumes that we're talking about, it's tens. Well, I just don't. We got this project down the road from us, and they're getting through 25,000 pairs of safety specs a month. That equates to 50,000 plastic bags just on safety glasses in 1 month. It's just, honestly, it's so simple to fix because we've done it and we've proved it. And
we generated a response because Emily says that she recently ordered some wooden stirrers individually wrapped in plastic. Totally mindless.
It's just honestly,
what can you do with that?
Yeah,
but we're changing culture, and it takes a while. I just think it's brilliant, the stuff that Mathias are doing. We really thank you for today. I'm sure it's been instructive for everybody. You know where Adam is now because his contact details are up there. We'd ask people to give their feedback on this session. And if you feel that your organisation has similar stories to tell, then we're interested in hearing from you. And I'll leave the last word to you, Adam. We want to go, we want a bit of feedback.
I just want to, thank you, Mark. I just, again, want to thank people for attending today and listening, and hopefully, will start to look at their supplier and what they're doing at the moment to address some of these issues. And again, if anybody would like any advice or support, then I'd be delighted to hear from people. So yeah, thank you everyone, and from me, have a lovely weekend.